I take it. That is it. That is the final whistle. West Ham United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. The Hammers rise to fourth in the Premier League. Michail Antonio opening the scoring after just 5 minutes from a Jared Bowen cross. The lead extended, doubled in the 47th minute, the second minute of the second half by Jesse Lingard surviving an offside flag, a VAR check ruling that the goal should have actually stood as it was. Tottenham getting a goal back in the 63rd minute from Lucas Moura, header at the near post from a Gareth Bale corner where he beat Cresswell to the ball. And Tottenham absolutely pummeling West Ham for the next half hour or so. But it doesn't matter. The Hammers hold out somehow to record a win in this afternoon's big London derby. Rio, West Ham 2, Tottenham 1, fourth in the Premier League. What do you make of all that then?
That was borderline terrifying. That is the most scary 90 minutes of football I've watched for many a year. You know, we started off brightly in each half, but after that, we kind of caved in, regressed on ourselves, let Tottenham exert all the pressure that they wanted. And they had chance after chance after chance. But someone was spying us today. We're just watching back the attempts of, like Sky just shown it, when I hit the post, when I hit the bar. How they've not won that game 4-2 is beyond me. But you know what? When people get the cup finals and lose, it's devastatingly painful for them. So, you know, commiserations, Tottenham. You're back where you're supposed to be. Run us up as per usual. I presume the fighting cock is going to go into absolute meltdown over the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
So your opposition is going to be more like War and Peace, I would believe. It's not going to be a little bite-sized element this week, is it? It's going to be the full tome, the full 25 volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica-sized opposition view. It's going to be an absolute joy to read.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a busy one, that's for sure. West Ham 2, Tottenham 1. The Hammers up to fourth in the Premier League. Just 1 point behind Leicester City in third place. Just 1 point behind Manchester United in second. About 1 million points behind Manchester City in first, but so are everyone else. But the Hammers absolutely flying now, Gnome. And, well, it was a backs-to-the-wall performance, wasn't it? But we got there in the end.
You like a stat. Yeah, hang on, Gray. I've got to charge my phone up because my phone's as knackered as I am, I think, at the moment.
All right,
you like a good stat, though, don't you?
I do. What have you got for me?
I've got one for you.
Okay.
I've got one for you. If Manchester City win today, Liverpool will be closer to Fulham than they are to Manchester City.
Oh, we like that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So,
but anyway, what a game! What do you make of it? What are your instant thoughts? Are you with us? Shall I come back to you?
I'm there.
I'll tell you what. I'll come back to you. All right, you've got us now. Back to the Gnome.
First thing is I want to rest. I want to lie down. Do you know what? I mean, beating them's fun. It's always fun because all the entitlement, that's our title chance is gone and all that stuff. Like you had them in the first place. But doing it like that, I don't like what it does to my heart and everything. But at the end of it, when you look back, it makes it even funnier, doesn't it? It's the fact that we were able to sit back and let them batter us and still know. We rode our luck. God knows we've not had any luck against them from time to time. So, sod 'em, basically. If I'm allowed to say that, you're not going to bleep me again.
I think you're all right with that one. You're still sore about that one, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes, I jolly well am.
Blame YouTube, not me. Talking of stats, Gnome, here's one for you. Jose Mourinho has earned 81 points after his first 50 league matches in charge of Tottenham, which is his lowest total at this stage of any managerial stint in his career. He took 124 at Porto, 126 at Chelsea in his first spell, 113 at Inter, 123 at Real Madrid, 114 in his second spell at Chelsea, 95 at Manchester United, where they couldn't wait to get him out, and only 81 at Tottenham so far. Pinky, is he going? Is this the end for Jose?
I think it should be. It really should, because you've only got to look at the fighting cock for half an hour to see that there's no real love for the man. There's an awful lot of hatred, and there's almost nobody defending him. And then that's the real sign, is the fact that no one will shove their head above the parapet and go, I think he's really good. Clearly, as a football club, they've lost their way, which is always nice to see. Money, of course, will be at the root of it all. They've spent, £1 billion on their shiny, empty stadium, which, one shudders to think what the interest bill is going to be that on your repayment mortgage, but it won't be small. So they're going to be selling players, and I think as a football club, the only thing that's keeping Jose in a job will be maybe waiting to the end of the season, and him and Levy can sit down and reach an amicable agreement that saves Levy some compensation. But as a manager of that club, I think his race is run, because the supporters, clearly, they were never happy with the style of football that's being played.
Yeah.
And it's the old argument. If you're not happy with the style, well, the results had better be good.
Mm-hmm.
But there they are, languishing down in mid-table. The season's effectively done for them. I think they're in the final of some competition or others at the League Cup or something. But to Tottenham Hotspur, so what? They haven't built that shiny new stadium to be winning the League Cup. They've built that shiny stadium to be featuring in the Champions League season after season after season, and they're not going to be there next season. That isn't going to happen. I mean, Jose will come out now and he'll make all the excuses about Thursday night football, but there's a reason it's Thursday night football. It's because they're actually not good enough to play on the Wednesday night, and so the fact they haven't had much time off, well, do you know what? That's what you've got a squad for. The rest of us have to suffer all that. Who's got a smaller squad than David Moyes? And here we are sitting in fourth place. I mean, some of our supporters will say they're not very happy with the style of the football, what have you, but the results are there. And that's the long and the short of it is, you've got to have one or the other, preferably both. But if you're not going to be pretty, at least make sure you're winning. And Tottenham aren't doing that. So I think Jose's run in English football is his race is run now. I think because you're looking at the clubs that he's been through, who else could afford his salary? Yeah. And there aren't many. So, I think enough about them. Now, I think for us today, if I'm being honest, we were unpicked with too much ease at times by Tottenham. I think, Tottenham had plenty of chances to score today and failed to do so. They've got in Harry Kane, who I think is probably the best striker in the Premier League, and the fact that he didn't get anywhere near getting a goal today, for whatever reason, you could say, well, we've defended well. I think I agree with Gordon in terms of man of the match. I think Souček today was superb. He's gone in clearly where it hurts. Antonio in the first half, he did plenty to earn his pay today. For us, 2-1, fourth spot, and a clean fourth spot. No one else can get to us. They win their games in hand. They're beneath us in the table. So very, very happy. And I'm just looking at the game that's about to start here now, Leicester against Villa. Dare I say it, I'll probably take a Villa win rather than anything else. So that's a sign that we're looking up the table, not below us. And what today's win's done for us is we get a free punch against Man City. Yeah. Because no one expects to get anything against Man City. So if you win today and you lose against City, it's, well, so what? If you lose today and you lose against City, it starts to look a bit. But for my money, yeah, let's look up the table. Leicester today, if they drop points, third spot again. Could be on.
Who knows? Who knows? It's turning into a quite remarkable season. We were touching on stats. We spoke about Mourinho there. Of course, we don't want to talk about Tottenham too much. It's all about West Ham today. But one player who did particularly well today, we spoke about Thomas Souček, of course, who went off with that injury early on, and his compatriot Soufal with the rib injury. Later in the game, stood strong, come back and performed magnificently, kept Son pretty much out of the game for much of it. But Declan Rice also had a very good game in the centre of the park. Some statistics as far as Declan is concerned: 100% aerial duels won, 83% pass accuracy, 10 ball recoveries, including that one in the first half. Gnome, I think it was you who likened it to the Bobby Moore challenge in the 1970 World Cup. 5 tackles attempted, 4 tackles won, 3 interceptions, 3 clearances. Another massive performance by the skipper for the day in the centre of the park. Overall stats, I should just point out before we carry on. Possession, West Ham 31%, Tottenham 69%. West Ham 4 shots, 4 shots on target. Tottenham 20 shots, 4 shots on target. West Ham 5 corners, Tottenham 7 corners. West Ham committed 14 fouls to Tottenham 7. The final XG for the match, expected goals statistic: West Ham 1.12, slightly up on half-time when it was 1.07. Spurs 1.07, up from 0.56 as it was at the break. Rio, we've got Gnome and Pinky's man of the match in Thomas Souček. Will you go against the grain? Was there anyone else who stood out a little bit more for you today?
Normally, I would agree with that, but you've just mentioned him, Declan Rice. I thought he's absolutely exemplary today, led by example. A game where he's under the cosh largely for, I'd say, about 75% of that game, 80% of that game. We didn't defend particularly well. It was far too scary. We were far too open at the back for a change. But Declan really stood out for me. That tackle in the first half was Bobby Moore-esque. I can't give any higher praise than that. But his all-round play was just a step above. And you look at one of his contemporaries playing for Tottenham today, Eric Dyer. There's no comparison. Declan Rice is 10 times the player Eric Dyer would ever want to be.
Yeah.
And he's still growing. He's still learning. He's only ever going to get better. He's an absolute Rolls Royce of a footballer. And we're lucky to have him.
Very much so. Very much so. Just touching briefly on Tottenham. I said I wouldn't, but I'm just going to read out a quick stat. It's 1 winning 6 for Tottenham now. They've lost 5 of their last 6 Premier outings. Almost Liverpool-esque form, that one, Gnome, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just. Do you want to come back to me, because I've got Lingard on
Sure.
with an interview coming back? So
Okay,
come back to me, because it's just literally come on.
we'll do. Then Pinky, I'll come on to you. Yeah, sorry, Pinky, you're going to come in there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, interesting Rio's comments there on, Declan Rice. If you want to hang on to Declan Rice at West Ham United Football Club, this is how you do it. You finish further up the league table than the teams that are likely to come in for him. So you can actually say to Declan, well, why do you want to join a team lower down the league system? And all of this is strengthening the chairman's hand, strengthening the manager's hand, because they can sit there and say, Declan, you're playing at London's top club. And at this point in time, that is a fact. The league table, as we're always told, when we're normally in the bottom 6, we're always told when we're in the bottom 6, the table doesn't lie. Well, do you know what? We're in the top 4. Table's telling the truth at this point in time. And who knows, if we can stay there for the rest of this season.
Yeah.
And I've touched on maybe even going up a spot, then Declan Rice, come the summer, has got a real tough decision to make, because he'll get well paid wherever he plays. But if he turned out for Thundersley Rovers, you'd give him an all-time record signing on fee and all the rest of it. But you know, wherever he goes, he would be well paid, and I'm sure, yeah, he would be West Ham's best ever paid player, no question of that. But it's about, you know, we talk about players' ambitions and wanting to win things. Can you imagine David Sullivan sitting down with him in the summer and saying, do you know what? Not only are we going to build the team around you, Declan, because of what the players have done this season, I'm now going to hand David Moyes the biggest ever transfer kitty in West Ham's history. And we're going to go for it. And we're going to go into Europe. We're going to try and do something. That would mean more to Declan Rice in terms of getting him to sign than an extra 50 grand a week in his wages. Because he's getting the extra 50 grand a week anyway.
Yeah.
What he wants is a better team and better players around him. And this is the way to go about it. Because when players in the summer are saying, who do I join? If you're in those Champion League spots, players will join you. They'll join you. Yeah. They'll say, we know it's a rubbish football stadium. We know the supporters hate it. We know the chairman's a bit of a wally and all the rest of it. But do you know what? They're in the Champions League, so I'll have a go with West Ham. That's the long and the short of it.
Declan Rice has just taken to Twitter for his first post-match message. It says simply, we won't talk too much. And with a load of fire emojis to follow it. Rio, Tottenham beaten in their cup final at Stratford. What a remarkable match it was. We touched on the fact that VAR went in our favour earlier in the game. You know, the goal that in the end was enough to keep West Ham ahead and win all 3 points was initially flagged offside, but upon a VAR review given, lots of luck at the end. The bar and the post coming to our assistance as well. It's just one of those seasons. Have you ever known West Ham to have so much luck over the course of not luck, because let's be honest, we are where we are on merit, but you've got to say we had a little bit of a helping hand today.
Oh, today we had more than a helping hand. We had people turn up with JCBs and 20-ton trucks and dumping luck outside our front door, to be honest, today. They're hitting the woodwork at the end now. It was just unreal, absolutely unreal. It wasn't a pretty performance, you know. It's the first time I can actually say that at times we defended rather poorly and quite naively. And for a David Moyes side this season, we've been absolutely exemplary at that all season. The goal that we did concede, we've been so sharp from set pieces, not only in the attacking sense, but from defending sense this season. The goal we did concede, poor Aaron got absolutely rolled by Mora. And it was a shocking goal to give away, absolutely shocking goal to give away. But the amount of times we've seen us cave in and capitulate and walked away from stadiums absolutely devastated because our defensive frailties have let us down at the wrong moment, you know?
Yep.
Just delightful to come away with a victory like that. Well, we're not played at our best. They've got, in Gareth Bale, Son, Harry Kane, three rather highly rated and coveted by a lot of clubs in Europe, but like in an attacking sense, they've got three of the best players in potentially Europe. And Son and Kane didn't do a lot today, no?
Well, let's talk about Son because... Sorry, Rio. I just wanted to touch on Son quickly because, you know, we've seen you guys have gone for Souček and Rice between you as man of the match. I thought Kufal was absolutely magnificent today. I think Son is one of the best players in Europe when he's on his game. And bar the odd chance, I thought Soufal, given that he had little protection in front of him as well, I thought Soufal was absolutely fantastic today. And also, you know, let's not forget he sustained a little bit of a nasty injury. I think Gnome pointed out he felt it was the ribs. And what did you make of that? I mean, are you with me on that one? That, you know, he did a great job on Son.
Yeah, we pointed out in the first half that every single Tottenham attack seemed to come down the right-hand side. They targeted Soufal and Bowen as the weak link.
Mm-hmm.
They had to refocus in the second half. They completely switched their plan of attack because, once again, Soufal has done an absolutely amazing job. No?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Son's their Son's their best player. Kane's not their best player at all.
Right.
Son, he makes them. He just absolutely makes them tick. And when he's on fire, he's at times unstoppable. He's playing for a really poor Tottenham side. If he wants to make anything of his career, he's got to move on. You know, there's a little spot in East London just waiting for him. You know, he'd fit in rather well over here, I think. But yeah, Soufal, everything that gets thrown at him, and poor Jared Bowen got run ragged in front of him today, and so Soufal had almost double the work to do, but he just mans up. He's unflappable, you know, for £4.5 million or £5 million, whatever he cost. I don't think there's been a better purchase in the Premier League all year. You know what you've going from Vladimir Soufal in terms of ability, heart, courage, effort, work rate, the lot.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a better value signing in the Premier League this year. He's just absolutely superb.
No, I'm inclined to agree. He's been absolutely magnificent. Son, most definitely not on fire this afternoon in Stratford. One player who was on fire, no, was Jesse Lingard, scored the second goal. Another great performance, 4 goals now, I think that is for the Hammers. He's been speaking to the TV broadcasters after the game. What did he have to say?
Yeah, I believe Sky gave man of the match to Lingard, so there's another candidate for you. Basically, you called it a brilliant win. The lads are buzzing. We grafted. He talked about maintaining the intensity of the first half in the second half, which is fair to say they had to do.
Yeah.
Talking about himself, he said it's brilliant. Yeah, the lads have taken to me. I've settled in very quickly. I'm playing each game with a smile on my face. I think I mentioned that before in the past. And he's enjoying his football, and that's the most important thing. We've got the same mindset. We've got goals for the end of the season and the same targets, but we're not looking at the table too much. And cliche alert, we'll take it game by game. And but it's an enjoyable position to be in. So yeah, sort of stuff you'd expect him to say. But I would say that it is good to see. Clearly, he came down south with the world on his shoulders, sort of thing, not getting a game at Man United.
Yeah.
And it can be difficult to come in because West Ham have been a team this season, which we so often haven't been. And so you're coming in, parachuted in from up north. It can be difficult to sort of fit in with that sort of that team situation. But you saw the goal celebrations where everybody was sort of together with it, and he's fitting in really well. As I said, I think the first game he played for us, the smile on his face. I've got the summary of what David Moyes said. It's just appeared on my screen. If you'd like that,
far away.
It's a great win for us. They're a tough opponent. We feel we can be better in possession, but let's not get carried away totally. We've still got some things to do. But simple things like hunger and the desire to succeed can cover up other things as well. I think if we'd had a bit more care, we could have got 2-0 up earlier in the game, but we didn't quite do that. Souček's a manager's dream. He is somebody who wants to play, really humble and enjoying being here. Jesse's always been a very good player. We shouldn't take that away. He's had a difficult year and he's giving us something else and helped us get better. We've only done half a job. If we continue this way, we'll be close. I don't want to be negative in any way, though. We're enjoying it, but we're also not going to be daft. We'll keep calm and hopefully keep pushing the teams at the top. We've always had bits where we've won big games, but what we want is consistency. I think we're beginning to have consistency. The club badly needs a level where they're not around the bottom. This time last year, you're asking me if we could avoid relegation. So it's a great feeling that is gone. There's always a first for everything, and Jose Mourinho had great teams wherever. I think he's talking there about his
first win,
managerial record.
Yeah,
he's up there with elite managers, but sometimes football can get you results like it did today. So there you go.
Awesome, good stuff. Yeah, I think Moyes referred to that record, didn't he, against Mourinho in his press conference on Friday. I don't think he'd ever beaten a Mourinho team before during his managerial career. So First for Moisey as well there. Gnome, what did you make of what the boss had to say? You know, Souček, a manager's dream. He said that we need to keep calm and maintain consistency. I mean, the sort of thing you'd expect to hear from a manager in that position, really.
It's sensible. I mean, you wouldn't expect much different from Moyes, but he's right. It's I mean, we're all enjoying it, but let's just see how far we can go. And we've said we didn't play brilliantly, and obviously we were sort of backs against the wall a little bit from time to time today. But the fact is that if you get that winning habit, which we've clearly got, then it's a good habit to have. So, and I think once everybody stopped laughing about the fact we've beaten Tottenham and all that, and I think he'll keep their feet on the ground, and rightly so, because after all, it's only Tottenham, who are what, 9th now, wherever that is, and so yeah, good, honest, sensible stuff from him. And as he said this time last year, you were saying, you're going to stay up. Well, yeah, well, enjoy looking at the table for 24 hours. Back to training tomorrow, and patch up the stuff.
Yeah.
So
good stuff. Good stuff. Really, we're it's. Well, I mean, it's a remarkable turnaround, isn't it? From this point last year, when, as Gnome has pointed out, Moyes saying we were fighting relegation, still, under threat of going down at this point last season.
We were just about to lose. I think it was last year, February. We went into lockdown in March, didn't we? And the last game I think we played was at Highbury, and we played well.
March the 7th, I think it was.
Yeah. So we're only a week or so around there, weren't we? But and we went up to Highbury, and how things changed. I can remember looking across. When we have them, I usually have the away season ticket, and you tend to be placed in the same place every year at Highbury, which is a long. We get an L-shaped bit, part of which goes behind the goal and part of which up the side. I was up the side, fairly close to where the Arsenal supporters were, and I was looking and thinking, "What is he wearing masks for?" And look, he's got a mask on. Yeah, we're going to go for a fool like that. But we were a bit unfortunate to come away with that without any points from that game.
Yes,
but
we were.
It great, did it? It was. We were always going to be hoping that other teams were going to be worse. And I think post-lockdown was just a revelation.
It certainly was. Changed things, didn't it, entirely? And, you're talking about Tottenham's position there, Gnome. There's now 9 points difference between West Ham and Tottenham. West Ham up to third in the table. Tottenham down in 9th. One winning 6 for them. I would imagine their fans are going to be going absolutely apoplectic, Pinky. This is going to be fun. Let's have a look at the Fighting Cock Forum to see what the Spurs fans are saying right now.
Well, dare I say it, this is a family show, so it's difficult to pick out individual posts because, there's an awful lot of here that is, there you go. Incomplete user, Nam. They don't have a better team. We just have a manager that's way past his sell-by date. I mean, it's just post after post, page after page, painting Jose Mourinho. It really is. I mean, the Tottenham Boo Boys are clearly, they don't rate Dyer, they don't rate Sanchez, they don't rate Mourinho. I'm struggling to, they think Son is gassed, they think he's out of puff for the season. There's half a dozen posts a page criticising Harry Kane. I mean, you'd think they were in a relegation dogfight, and in particular, I mean, what surprises me, of course, that this game doesn't matter to Tottenham supporters. It doesn't matter to them. They're not bothered about how they do against West Ham. Yeah, and yet, I mean, imagine the reaction if they'd lost to Crystal Palace. If it's a game they're not bothered about, they're this upset. If they lost to Crystal Palace or Brentford or a London club of that sort of Fulham, dare I say it, you could understand. They must go into a total meltdown. So if they're this upset losing to us, you know, well, they you know, sorry, but yeah, we need a manager who recognises our attacking strengths and sets up accordingly. Guys, you had 17 shots or something like that. You know, the reality is it's one of those days where, if we're being honest, they could have beat us 5 or 6-2. You know, they could have done.
Yep, no doubt.
But the truth is, they didn't. And that's the name of the game, because if football, you know, trophies were handed out for ifs and buts, we'd have a cupboard full of them. You know, if this happened, if that happened. The reality is, what Tottenham are finding out, that when you're down on your luck, dare I say it, you really are down on your luck. And you know, I half jokingly said it earlier about, you know, the start of the season, believing they can win the league with, you know, Gareth Southgate. He's there, Aston Villa, Leicester. He should have been at the London Stadium today. But you know, they start the season thinking that Jose Mourinho is going to win in the league, and now they're all calling for his head. And I might actually have to join the fighting cock, actually take one for the team and start the Allardyce in conversation. You know, because, you know, it's just, you know, here we go. There's one post here from Ciro. Not a popular opinion, but I don't think we deserve to lose this game. Yeah, but you did, Sam. That's how it is. Here you go. Norse. I won't give his second name because I think it's offensive, but there we go. Personally, I looked at Hugo the Clown at the first goal too. Hugo the Clown. So obviously, Lloris now is getting stick. You know, look at the positive. The new ball they are using looks ace. You know, no leaders on the pitch, no one shouting, cajoling. I mean, they're not happy.
Fair to say. Fair to say. I think definitely not happy, are they? No doubt about that one.
Top four, well and truly out of sight now. What do you mean now?
What now?
Now. You know, that was out of sight when Lanzini banged it in. Yeah,
it was. I mean, that is where you get Tottenham. I mean, like where everybody laughs at them because, you know, they're genuinely thinking that it was still, you know, it was still in play today. You know, if somehow they were going to go top four. It wasn't happening. It really wasn't happening. I mean, like when we drew 3-3, it was like, oh, there's the title gone. What title? You know?
Yeah, do you know, I'm looking forward to listening to the show from our two friends from Tottenham. I don't know what their names are, but the guys that
I'll let you watch it so I don't have to.
Okay.
Well, one recalls the Paul Merson moment, doesn't it? You know, when Jeff Stelling goes into like a 3-minute speech on, you know, and he uses the phrase, you know, Tottenham success, and Merson just sits there and goes, "What success?" You know, and you know, not for me to big up a former Gooner, but you know, I think he nailed him there, and you know, one of the more serious comments, and there aren't many serious comments on the fighting cock. I mean, it's just doom and gloom. I mean, it's just a cesspit of negativity in there. The one sensible comment was, you know, from the post that just put in five defeats in 6 matches. You know, and had they not got off to a fairly decent sort of first sort of dozen games or so, that's relegation form. 5 defeats in 6 is relegation form. So all joking apart, whatever is wrong at Tottenham Hotspur, it's serious. You know, 5 defeats in 6. We wouldn't be happy with that at West Ham at any time. You know, for Tottenham, you know, title aspirations, Champions League is a birthright. You know, glory, you know, do me a favour. What we saw today was some very physical, hard-working players, but they lacked that little bit of magic. Yep. You know, the Tottenham like to think they've always had that little bit of magic in their starting lineup. Mm-hmm. And what we're really seeing at Tottenham, frankly, is where we were in the Allardyce era, and all joking apart, their supporters are going to be fairly strongly split, I would think now, whereby they're making it perfectly clear they're not going to accept the Jose Mourinho brand of football any longer. And, you know, you just might think if they let the crowds back in tomorrow, could Tottenham actually sell out their football ground with the football they're playing at the minute? I've got my doubts.
Well,
Not
as we said,
the
it's going to be
will sell their ground out.
Sorry?
Yeah, their football will not sell their ground out, right? The only thing I've ever been jealous about Tottenham, and I will be for a while, is that they're partnering up with a decent brewery to supply decent beer in their ground. That's the only reason they'll ever get crowds in that stadium. It won't be because of their football. It won't be because of the personnel. It certainly won't be because of their success, because they don't have any. But enough to have a decent point.
There you go. Decent beer.
That's
at least Spurs are good for something after all. Of course, they will be good for an opposition view on KUMB tomorrow when we dissect the thoughts that Pinky has been bringing us from the Fighting Cock and maybe one or two other Spurs forums for that. So keep an eye out for that one. That's going to be something else I can tell you tomorrow morning on KUMB.com. Leicester and Aston Villa are playing now. Leicester looks like they're going to extend their lead over West Ham to 4 points if the opening 25 minutes is anything to go by, because goals from Maddison and Barnes have given the Foxes a 2-0 lead already at Villa Park. So they've started magnificently there, although Villa are looking to come back strongly. We've done the Fighting Cock. Let's do the KUMB.com forum match thread, Rio. You know, this for a change, I think both forums are going to be a joy to read this afternoon.
Yeah, but for us, there's a lot of humility. There's a lot of looking at games and looking at football in a manner it's supposed to be looked at with reason, with heart, with integrity. MB has put, what a great result, especially against these lot. But my God, for the sake of stress levels, can we please learn to keep the ball for more than 1 minute at a time? Everything Hammers, but I cannot wait for the opposition view. I just love the reaction of those poor deluded spuds after watching their team lose to little old West Ham. Well done, the Messiah and the lads. Agent Hammer. Souček was an absolute Goliath again. We used to rely on Bonds, but now we have a check. A monkey hanger. For me, that was the best win of the season, which I cannot agree with. Against the Sky 6 Club with biased TV pundits, a biased ref, grit and determination from the whole team. I can't say that word. Annoying Mourinho, riding our luck and soaking up the pressure. It doesn't get much better than this. Dare we dream of Champions League? Yes, we can. To be honest, the whole place has gone so mental. One of our more notable posters, who tends to wind people up beyond belief, has come out with one of the best kind of summaries for it. And so Cardiff, here we come. Any team that gets a victory against an opponent with an attacking threat of Sun, Bale, Mora, Ali and Kane fully deserves the 3 points. We bring on Ben Rahman and Johnson. They bring on Ali and Bale. We need to strengthen our solid quality. But as we stand, team spirit we have in bundles. We don't just ever buckle. We work hard and we defend like warriors. You make me so very proud of West Ham United. Great win and a cracking 3 points. The whole forum is awash with kind of interesting, insightful and positive comments. You know, everyone's appreciative that 90 minutes was absolutely terrifying at times, but there was a lot of realism on their forum at the moment. No one's daring to dream too hard. No one's pushing the boundaries too far. It's just a lot of realism. Just one more thing I would like to point out.
Yep.
As a post earlier, just after Thomas Souček took that nasty boot to the head, which after being dabbed with potato salad mayonnaise, he'd got up and walked away with, and he's kind of fine. No. Tom Kamin put, can Thomas Souček be admitted to the pantheon of the West Ham Hall of Fame tough guys now? Which it's not far away, is he?
No, not so. We've got that.
I think his countrymen might be up there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
definitely.
countrymen might be up there with him as well.
No.
Couple of
There's
things.
a lot to be proud of today.
Couple of things. Do you think that Souček is kind of like the Czech Popeye, and it's potato salad when he just sort of shovels down the potato salad, the muscles start going. So obviously,
Definitely.
remember those old, really horrible, useless black and white cartoons that used to come in from Eastern Europe, but when you were at school, sort of thing in the 60s. Oh, just me then. So, the Czechoslovakia, as was, couldn't afford spinach, so they had the worker with his potato salad. Probably putting the capitalists to rest. So I've got some comments from Mourinho.
Yes, please. Yeah, I was going to ask you, Gnome, actually, if he'd spoken. So looking forward to this one as well. Far away.
I've actually got the stuff has just come up on the screen anyway.
Okay.
Okay. I feel sad, obviously. I feel the result should have been a different one from what we played, especially in the second half. That's my feeling, and it's a little bit of deja vu. Their defensive line was brilliant. Their centre-backs gave us a very difficult match. We started the game with a mistake and started the second half with another one. The team in the second half were trying absolutely everything. We had the chances hitting the post, great crosses across the face of goal. We had easy shooting positions to score, so we should have scored more goals. I've spoken about this for a long time, and it's not always good to stay on the same page. I believe people who watched the game understood completely the nature of the goals we conceded. They fought. This is not a criticism. It is to praise their spirit. They fought hard, but they just fought. We were the team that tried to play, but the boys were not lucky. Talking about Gareth Bale, I know his quality. I cannot say everything to you. I shouldn't. I don't want to. I believe as a coach, I don't have to speak so much about the situation. But with Gareth Bale completely fit and ready to play 90 minutes of every game, of course he would. We're trying everything with him to recover him to be at a good level. To play 65 minutes as he did on Thursday, and then today he couldn't start the game today, he wouldn't have 90 minutes to give us. But I'm happy because we know what he brings. He brings quality. Very unlucky shot, because in that situation we had a double shot to score but didn't. Talking about the top four, before this game I was not looking at the table. I was looking to the game, and the objective was to win, and when you win you then look to the table to see where you are. It's very difficult to think about the top four. The top 4, 5, 6 teams are all getting points. It'll be very, very hard. The Europa League is a great motivation to get a Champions League spot and a trophy at the same time. The boys fight, and when the team fights, you can believe good things can happen. There you go.
Excellent. Well, no surprise there. Mourinho again. I mean, he was stressing how unlucky he felt Tottenham had been and how he felt they deserved more in his Friday press conference. Again, they're saying that he felt they were a little unjustly denied a point, or at least 3 points today, saying that they were the team who tried to play and West Ham fought. West Ham's defensive line being brilliant. But for Tottenham, it was a case of deja vu. What a shame. What a terrible shame. But anyway, listen, we're going to move on. We want to talk about West Ham because it's been an incredible season so far. And I think week in, week out, they continue to surprise us. I should just point out, before we do carry on, kudos to Gnome and Pinky, who both called it spot on today. 2-1 wins for West Ham.
Oh, yeah.
So well done,
What's my
gentlemen.
prize?
Well done on that one. And I want to talk about Champions League football. Rio mentioned it in his roundup from the KUMB.com forum. The question has been asked by Liam on YouTube chat saying, can we dream of Champions League football? Well, I guess, Liam, we can always dream about it. Pinky, could it be a reality?
Yeah, we could do. I don't think it'd be a formality, but we've put ourselves in a position where, with 25 games gone, we're in the right end of the table. We're in a clean 4th spot, so no one could catch us with games in hands and things like that. We're beating teams that traditionally we might have struggled against. I mean, just to go back to today's game very briefly, it was a win that reminded me the same kind of win we got against Manchester City on Antonio's debut, where we'd been largely battered for the game, but we held on for the win, and team spirit goes an awful long way, particularly in a season such as this, whereby, and we spoke about this a few weeks ago, we're now getting into the interesting stage of the season whereby teams who've got nothing to play for, they can't smell Europe and they don't fear defeat. Most seasons, when the supporters are in the grounds, they will keep the teams relatively honest. Just the fact that, we still expect you to run, lads. We're not the only group of supporters that dishes it out to players that aren't putting in a full shift. So other club supporters will do likewise. I think what will really define this season is when the players who are at clubs who've got nothing really to play for, let's say from 9th down to 15th, that sort of those half a dozen clubs there. So I don't know who that'd include. I mean, that'd be from Tottenham down to wherever, to Burnley. When the players at those clubs stop running, they're the teams you really want to be playing between now and the end of the season, because they'll just be rolling over. There'll be a lot of rollover results. And if we've got enough of those left still to play, then I think we've got a very good chance. The teams, that would make it very difficult are the top 6, because Liverpool aren't going to give up completely. They'll keep pushing to try and recover from what for them has been a disastrous season. I mean, no question about it. Chelsea will obviously keep trying. And very interesting, yesterday, the Chelsea manager subbed a sub. So it isn't just David Moyes that does that. So the Chelsea manager did that yesterday with an arguably more senior player. So is it possible? Yeah, it is. And I make no bones about it. I said right at the start, get your passports ready, boys and girls. First thing tomorrow, I'll be going down Woolworths and going to the little photo booth just to get my photo taken so I can send it off to the passport office. There you go. I need a new passport, and hopefully sometime middle of next month, a nice shiny blue one will drop through the letterbox. And dare I say it, and it could well be Champions League. But I'll just be happy to finish as high up the league table as we can. I think in many ways this season could have been disastrous. We haven't invested enough, but what we have invested, we've invested very wisely. I think David Moyes and his team of coaches deserve enormous credit, because we saw again today on the things they can influence: basic organisation, set moves. I mean, there were 2 throw-ins today where we've played a very deep throw down to the dead ball line to force a corner kick, and it worked twice. If that wasn't the players deciding to do that off the cuff during the game, the coaching staff have actually coached them to do that. Said, right, when you are in this position, this is going to be our set move to force the corner. We did it twice today, and it worked twice today. And 2 corner kicks today, whereby very clearly we're going to have the big lad coming from deep. So you're going to put that ball from the corner kick at this height, right in the middle. So let's say 13 yards from the goal for the on-running player to get on the end of.
So you're talking here about the Dawson and Diop headers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These things don't happen by accident.
Yeah.
This is what David Moyes, Nolan, Pierce, they do all week. This is what they're doing with the players all week. And these things are working. And how many times have we seen in the past? And it wasn't so very long ago where I think under Pellegrini, we were looking at some of these things, and it was like the ball was being put out to the D in the corner, and no West Ham player going towards it because we weren't sure who was taking the corner kick. Similarly on throw-ins, it used to be a case of, oh no, it's a throw-in, we're going to surrender possession because there isn't a plan to retain the ball. So, I don't think we're in 4th spot by accident. I think we're punching above our weight because we're being coached better with very clear, simple but unambiguous plans to say we're going to do this, 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 and this. Yeah. And it's working. And, and I think if David Moyes gets the reward of his team in the Champions League spot come May, I think he'll have earned it. And I think the players will have earned it. It's not luck. That's the whole point. It isn't luck.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's been a thoroughly, I mean, you can't be this lucky after 25 weeks of the season, of course. Rio, we talk so often about 1985-86, the boys of 86, when that West Ham team achieved the club's best ever top flight finish of 3rd place in the old Division 1. Now, I think we're always kind of reticent. We talk about, and we have done before, about can West Ham do it again? Can we finish in the Champions League? Can we make Europe? And, we sort of talk about it, but I'm not sure any of us really think that could happen. We're winning week in, week out. This is 7 wins from 9 now, I think, in 2021, which is the same as we achieved in 2007, of course, which is something I was talking about on our YouTube channel earlier this week with Daniel Hurley. About in his new book, The Great Escape. Have a look at that interview if you want to reminisce about that season. But of course, this is a completely different season this year. Can we finish in the top 3, or will we? I mean, do you think we can really do it now? I mean, as I say, we talk about it, and I don't think any of us really believe it. But David Moyes surely has got to have us believing now, hasn't he? Or has he?
Even now, I think the odds are stacked against us a little, no? But that's only for the pure reason that at the start of the season, we wasn't backed enough in the transfer market. We lacked depth in numbers, depth in quality. And just look at our bench today, as Carly KUMB mentioned on the forum.
Yeah.
Look at our bench today in compared to Tottenham. But what that is so tight-knit, full of self-belief, incredibly well drilled, very well coached, nothing's impossible. I think our next 5 or 6 games will define that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously next week is the title decider, us and City. City have the edge at the moment, obviously. Just in terms of pure financial muscle.
Yeah, but, just about.
You just never know, do you? But the games after that, we've come up against the Arsenals, the Manchester Uniteds, the Wolves, the Leicesters, and we put in, against Wolves and Leicester, we absolutely battered them. Against Arsenal, we should have won. We was unlucky to come out with a defeat. Manchester United in the league, we absolutely battered them for 45 minutes. And even in the second half, he was undone by a goal that went out of play. You have to believe now, you have to have the positivity. And let's face it, if we can, dare I say, nick that 3rd or 4th spot in the Champions League, it can reinvigorate our whole club and our whole future.
Yeah.
Just one decent group spell in maybe a little progression to knockout stages in the Champions League. Look what we did for Leicester. I know they won the league, but that was kind of fortuitous that season. The next season, they had a little bit of a fallout, but they've regrouped, recruited well, spent enough money in that recruitment in a sensible manner. And that's the thing. Under David Moyes, if we retain his services and his coaching staff's services, if you gave him the funds that the Champions League push can generate and potentially it propels you into a different level, doesn't it? And if you trust in his player recruitment, I mean, look what he's done with the Czech players we were signed. It took us. It's just unreal what he's accomplished on such a limited budget.
Yeah,
it could absolutely reinvigorate this whole club. It would give belief back to the support. We're still never going to be fully on board with the ownership. But if you give this manager the funds, give the support the belief, our whole club could completely change 360, 180 degrees. I've got
to ask you, Rio, just quickly coming in. Sorry, buddy, but coming in there. But you mentioned the board. Now, it's sort of almost a can a leopard change its spot situation here, is it? This is, we know David Moyes is doing a fantastic job. His team are doing a fantastic job. His backroom staff are all doing a fantastic job. But there's still this lingering feeling that it's all in spite of the board and not, with the help of the board. Can they change?
Yeah.
Do you see them actually, ceding that decision making to David Moyes and saying, look, you're doing a fabulous job on the pitch. We're going to give you full control, almost like, in a sense, the way that managers used to run football clubs, where, the manager, talking about West Ham, I guess we're going back to the Harry Redknapp era, perhaps, and John Lyall, people like that, where managers had full control over everything at the football club. Can you ever see this board, David Sullivan saying, you know what, I appreciate that you've done a better job in the transfer market, or potentially could do a better job than me. I'm going to give you full control. Do you think that's ever likely to happen?
The bottom line for them is the whole financial aspect. And if it generates them more money in the long term, makes them a little bit richer, because they're not in it for the love. They're in it purely for the financial gain. If it makes them a few more quid, I can see them relinquishing a little bit of control in terms of that aspect. Okay. I think David Sullivan always considers himself a football man. He'll have want to have some kind of degree of how can I put it, having his finger in the pie in some aspect. But if it makes them a few more quid, they might take a further seat back, and a seat back, and a seat back, until they're sitting on their money bags at the back of the stand going, thanks, Dave, you earned me an extra like 5 or 6 million here.
Okay, so as far as Rio's concerned, it's all about the money. Could it happen? Gnome, Champions League we've been talking about. Do you think West Ham can do it this year? Is this we're in fourth place at the moment? There's a gap now, and Pinky's touched on it. The gap is opening up between West Ham and the teams below us. Chelsea, of course, are only a couple of points adrift, but you look to sixth place Liverpool. We're 5 points ahead of Liverpool. Everton have a game in hand, of course, but still 5 points adrift. Then it's Villa and Tottenham, 8th and 9th, and 36 points, 9 points behind. We're going to have to, in some ways, it's almost ours to throw away now, isn't it? Or at very least a Europa League spot.
I think we need to do what we've been doing. And firstly, the answer to the question is yes, obviously we can make Champions League or Europa League. We have it within our capability to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's one of these things where we should banish all thoughts of it from our minds.
Yeah.
So that then see what we got at the end of the season. So it's almost like cover up the league table and take a peek at the end of the season.
And to his credit, Moyes, I think he's doing that, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly,
as you've seen his interviews. Yeah.
I mean, you can't banish it completely from your head, but I mean, we've said, only half joking, like a couple of weeks ago, now we've got 40 points. Well, that's relegation sort of knocked on the head. And then somebody points out, well, we need more than 42 just to be sure. And so yeah, let's do it like that. Let's not look at it in that way. Let's just finish as high as we possibly can.
Yeah.
What we get, we get. Let's not let the potential goals distract us from the basic principle of just playing your socks off and doing what you can. It's just one of those superstitious thing. Let's not jinx it. Let's look, Champions League. Oh, that's handy. Yeah, let us be surprised by it if it happens at the end of the season. Yeah. Because the worst thing in the world, we go to the last game, you need a point or 2 points or something, and then you focus on it, and all the good work you've been doing goes out the window because you're focusing on this one thing rather than just concentrating on winning. And it is cliche, but each game as it comes,
Yeah.
That would be terrible. But let's just go for it and
let's dream.
I'm not thinking about it. I'm not giving it any thought other than to laugh at other clubs who are going to struggle to make it because they think they've got a right to be there. It's the usual thing. They keep changing the format, don't they, of the Champions League as well? They're trying to give. I mean, it's the usual thing with Liverpool. They're trying to give so-called elite clubs a sort of extra place in the Champions League if they don't qualify on the grounds they might have won it before, which is like, you know, oh, there you go, come in. Hang on a second, I finished the puff then. Well, yeah, but they won it 20 years ago. Well, yeah, I mean, it is so. They're trying to throw so many bones at the likes of Liverpool to stop them going off with Barcelona and your AC Milan, Inter Milans, and Juventus and your PSGs to form their own Super League. And every time I see sort of like, you know, UEFA rule changes or even Premier League rule changes, the first thing to look at is who's going to benefit from this. And the league change that was before, where it was going to give everybody who'd been in the league a set number of years was going to have a sort of right of veto over everything. Oh, who's that then? Oh, Liverpool. Well, that's a surprise. You know, so I think about the Champions League for them and how desperate they are to get in it by any sort of back door if they can't actually qualify. You know. So I'll laugh at everybody else going for it. If we get in it, great, let's go for it.
Yeah, but I think that's definitely the way to look at it, and I'm sure that's the way that Moyes is instructing his players: is don't think too much about it, just carry on doing what you're doing, keep racking up those wins, keep racking up those points, and what will be will be. And it's, you know, it's definitely working so far, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're going to wrap up pretty soon now. We've done just over an hour or so of our post-match discussion, looking back at West Ham United's win over Tottenham. Let me say that once again. West Ham United's win over Tottenham, a win that catapults the Hammers. Well, not exactly catapults, sort of throws us over the wall probably from 5th into 4th place.
Sorry, you're bending over on your back and I'm standing on it as I scramble over.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, it's not exactly a pretty crap catapult, really. But
we're going it's scramping for European places.
Yes, exactly. We kind of done a Humpty Dumpty and fell off the 5th place wall into 4th place. But I want to finish by looking ahead to next week. Pinky mentioned it was the title decider, rather jovially. I'm sure not particularly seriously, but who knows? Who knows the way things are going? West Ham United versus Manchester City, should I say, versus West Ham United next weekend. Pinky, you pointed out earlier in the stream that it was almost like a free punch for West Ham, I think was the phrase you used, in terms of the position we're in now means, you know, it doesn't really matter what happens. But, you know, for Moisey, what an opportunity this is to show just how good this West Ham team are.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it is a free punch, but also it's better than just us having a puncher's chance, if you know what I mean. We can go to Man City and compete. I'm certainly not expecting a 5-0 drubbing, let's put it that way. You know, so if we go up there, if it turns out that we lose by the odd goal, pint of bothered, because do you know what? No one's getting much against Man City. Was it 17, 18 games, one on the spin, something like that? Yeah. But, you know, we all know winning runs come to an end eventually. Why not next week? You know, would be my take on it. And, you know, so for my money, let's go for it next week. Let's see what we can do. You know, I think, you know, the title is Man City's to lose. I mean, I think they're a long way ahead of anybody else.
Yeah.
But you see what Brendan Rodgers, Leicester City are doing this afternoon. They are absolutely putting Aston Villa to the sword. I mean, they're getting the business done early, because what they're doing is they're saying, we can see there's going to be a bit of a scrap for 4th spot. Chelsea want it, Liverpool want it, West Ham United want it. You know, Everton might still have aspirations of it, but I'm not sure they're quite close enough. I think it's probably 3 clubs fighting out for the 4th spot. Okay? But Leicester are basically saying, we don't want to get dragged into that battle for 4th. We're making sure that we're finishing further up than that. And I think David Moyes probably needs to get that message across to the players next week, which is, do you know what? Try and get the 3rd spot. Don't, you know, if don't bank on just sneaking into 4th spot, you know, like a boy coming in late at night, is try and win the game against Man City. And it's been a long time since we've been able to even have that thought. And just to leave people on a more positive train of thought as well, if I can, this afternoon. We touched on the chairman's lack of investment and can he actually change his spots and so forth. Do you know what? If we finish in the top 4, if I was looking to sell a football club, I'd sell it with a wafer-thin squad that's just qualified for the Champions League. So I could say, look at all the upside. Yeah. Now give me £500 million and I'll go. And he might just get lucky with some American investor who'll take a punt on that basis. So Champions League qualification would have more than just good news for the team and David Moyes. Maybe the supporters could actually look forward to a new owner next season as well, because that would be the peak moment to sell in the Golden Sullivan era. Why not? So let's go for it. Beat Man City, and it puts us closer to getting Sullivan out the door. That's, and I don't want that to sound negative, but you know, if he's not going to fund the squad for a season in the Premier League properly, he sure as shit isn't going to fund the squad for a season in the Champions League, is he? Because he can't. He hasn't got the money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, of course, we shall see what happens. But I just like the fact that we're all sitting here talking about, you know, going to Man City with a chance, which is something that, Gnome, I'm sure at the start of the season we wouldn't have, you know, sort of envisaged, especially at this stage of the season, 25 games in. But here we are, West Ham, Man City. What do you reckon?
It's nice to be going up there with no sense of trepidation at the moment. I mean, the last couple of seasons, it's been, oh dear, how are we going to be able to keep it? There was a run, wasn't there? Every time we went up there, we lost 5-0. And I don't think that's going to happen this time around. So I want to see a decent performance. Now, if that's a battling performance like it was today, and we come out with something, but we've worked our socks off, that's one thing. If we can do enough to actually go out and maybe get something from the game, even better. But it's going to be about the performance. It's going to be about, dare I say it, making it as difficult for them as possible. But let's go up there. Let's, a bit like the league in general. That's another game out of the way. Well, let's get this one out of the way and see what we get at the end of it. I mean, like today, it was like, all joking apart and laughing at Tottenham apart, it was a case of Tottenham, you know, it can be a decent team on their day. So let's sort of not worry about them. Let's get the game out of the way and have a look at the table. Game out of the way, look at the table. We're fourth. Yeah, that's how we should be looking at next week. Only obviously with a much better team that we're facing. You know, you just look at the players they've got in, and you know they're not missing somebody like De Bruyne, who I think is, for me, is probably one of the best players, if not the best player in the league when he's fit. And you know, he's injured, and it's kind of like, oh, De Bruyne's injured. Oh, well, so what? Now, we're worrying every week about whether or not Antonio's hamstrings are holding out.
Yeah.
They can afford to miss someone of De Bruyne's quality and still not bat an eyelid. Well, says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, we should actually point out as well, we haven't spoken about Antonio. Have we played the full 90 minutes today? And fortunately, they did hold out. He was okay. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't getting up to him an awful lot in the second half, I have to say. But first half, he did, you know, we said at the time, every time the ball came to him, and he was getting it. He was making things happen. It wasn't always just relying on service. There were times that they were dithering on the ball and he'd go in and put a tackle in and start things up. So first half particularly, which, in terms of the game was a lot more even than the second perhaps. But it's good to see him get through the 90 minutes. And it clearly wasn't it wasn't even considered taking him off. At that point. So
good stuff. Yeah, good stuff all around. We're happy. We're all very happy. We've just beaten Tottenham. Of course, we're happy. 4 points off the Spurs this year, Rio. Not bad. Bragging rights, of course, once again. But Man City to come, a much bigger test for the Hammers next week when we go and face City up there away. What do you reckon? What do you make of that one? Could West Ham surprise us yet again?
This whole season's about been breaking hoodoo, surprising people, battling against the odds. Nothing's impossible. You just look at our Man City side and what they normally have on their bench in terms of player value, and how much do they spend on centre halves last summer?
Yeah,
more than we probably spent on our whole squad. And
more than we spent on Craig.
Strange seasons. Anything? Yeah, just a touch. Yeah. The archetypal Premier League Sky era club that has been skewed financially, and in terms of finance, they're a million miles ahead of us. In terms of performance and ability-wise, there's nothing to say we can't go up there and put a shock to the system, disrupt their flow towards the title. It's West Ham. This is what we do. Now we go up and we put a cat amongst the pigeons every now and then. So nothing's impossible. It's incredibly unlikely, but you just never know, do you? I've got a little footnote about Erasmo opponents today.
Yes, buddy.
If you want to add that a little bit afterwards.
Yep.
Now, I mentioned in the week why I hate Tottenham, and Pinky backed me up. It's the delusions of grandeur. It's like the self-entitlement. Oh, we're so much better than anyone else. We deserve this. We deserve that. And their last title was in 1961. Now, since then, the Berlin Wall has been built. It's been dismantled. We put a man on the moon. We put in bloody cars on Mars now. The internet's been invented. There's even colour television. England managed to win a World Cup in 3 different disciplines. Even little old West Ham have won 3 FA Cups. Who's the most important? Why don't you care about us when you've got a 820-page plus thread on why we should laugh at West Ham? Is it our cup final or is it yours? Answer me that, Tottenham, please. Good night.
Just chip in here.
No.
Can I point out that I'm probably the only person on this podcast who was actually alive when they won the league last? Genuinely, I was.
Very true, but only barely though. Of course, you were.
Yeah, I mean, if you say middle of May, I was probably about a month old, but I was alive.
Amazing. There you go. Gnome giving away his secrets live on air on KUMB TV. That is just about it for today. My thank you to the rest of the team here at KUMB. It's been thoroughly enjoyable. As I'm going to say it again, we've just beaten Tottenham. My thanks going to Rio, to the Pink Palermo, and to Gnome this afternoon. Thank you also, of course, to everybody who's joined us throughout the afternoon live on the stream. We thoroughly appreciate your company and enjoy reading all your comments throughout the game. It is the 21st of the 2nd, 21. West Ham have won 2-1, which is a nice little stat, isn't it? Tottenham, you just got caned. You did, and I can say it. I've been looking forward to saying that all day. You just got caned. Looking forward to seeing what the 2 guys over at Spurs have got to say about it. Anyway, I'm off to write this week's opposition view, which is going to be an absolute joy once again. And that's it from all of us from here at KUMB. Until next week, until Man City, come on, you Iron.